Hello future people, welcome to Getting Tabled. Jason the Bruce here, and welcome to Prepare for Conquest. Today, we're going to take the forces that I've purchased and build an army.
You can arrange your brushes, prepare your clippers and your knives. But sometimes no matter how many tools or paints you have, it's not enough if the dice are not on your side. Sometimes you only have one choice. And that choice is to prepare for conquest.
So, we're finally doing it. So, to cap off with, I want to start by explaining exactly what I own. Technically, you have seen it throughout the videos, but it hasn't been properly laid out to show what I have. What I currently own is a Matriarch Queen, a Predator, and a Scion of Conquest. I own a box of Braves, a box of Blooded, a box of Hunters, and a box of Slingers. I own some Raptor Riders, one box, and I own some Warbred, one box. So that's everything I have right now, forces-wise. So, we're going to head to the website, we're going to have a look at the options that I have, and I'm going to show you the ideas that I've picked up from the comments, as well as the ones that I've adjusted on my own. Alright, so here we are in the Para Bellum website, we're in the Army Builder. In today's video, we're going to be looking at building a force from the boxes that I own, as I said earlier. I want to preface this by saying that whatever I build here is not going to be the most competitive army that you will ever find. The main reason for that is that I only have one box of everything that I own. At very minimum, you're going to want some more infantry in order to have a more competitive list. I'm also not going to have enough points to do a full tournament 2000 list. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be very effective, I suspect. But I suspect that I would fall quite short of that. The point of this is to show you that you can still have a lot of fun with whatever you own. Not everything you build needs to be the most competitive thing that you ever have. I mean, if you're entering a tournament, then obviously, yes, you need to take that into consideration. But it's not the most important thing at all times, especially if you're just playing with friends. So, let's take what I own and see how I go. I'm going to start with a suggestion that came from the comments of one of our videos. I will be showing you that, but I'm going to build up what the suggestion was first. So, I'm going to start by adding a Predator. To that Predator, I am going to give fire in advance, as well as marksmanship. So as a reminder, we have looked at this before, but this is how the rule works. You draw the next command card. If that command card is for the active character's regiment, so you need to set this up at the start of your turn, that regiment acts immediately. If the stance regiment uses a volley action as its second action, it may take a third action, which must be a march action, after the volley is resolved. Once the regiment has completed its actions, the character then takes his or her turn. If the drawn command card is not from the character's regiment, place it on the bottom of your command stack, and the character takes his turn as normal. So again, you need to set this up at the start of your turn. Marksmanship is a little bit more straightforward. Marksmanship means that your character gains +2 barrage, which is obviously going to be very useful when you've got a whole heap of volley actions coming. Adding to the Predator, we are going to give him a thing of Slingers. The Slingers will have a leader, because it's free, why would you not give them a leader? And Bullet Carver. Bullet Carver, for a reminder, wounds caused by this regiment as a result of volley actions cause morale tests. So everything is more effective, basically. If I'm using a restricted, I must also have a mainstay. So this is where I'm going to deviate from the suggestion slightly. But before I do, let me show you the actual comment itself. So, Jarek is the one that made the suggestion. Thank you very much, Jarek. I very, very much appreciate it. As you can see, he actually laid out how it went for him. Just something that went really well. He actually disagreed with me at one point. He felt that the Dreamcatcher is a little bit too expensive, but he says the Slingers are the way to go. He felt that Hunters are only worth it if you expect them to be engaging in melee as well. as opposed to slingers that are pure volley. Now, where I'm going to deviate from that is quite simply just because the Predator is one of the only ways that I can get my Raptor Riders onto the board right now. So, I'm going to be getting the Raptor Riders. In the Raptor Riders, I am going to give them a Huntress, because it gives them some fairly significant things. It combines the benefits of the Standard Bearer, which means it adds 1 to its march distance. It gives them Unstoppable, which means it can re-roll their charge rolls. And it gives them the Leader that we've already seen elsewhere.
Hello, Editing Bruce here. Realising that as I was recording that video, despite having said that we've seen the Leader ability more than once, I don't actually stop and read it. So I'm going to do that now, at this particular point for you. A regiment with a leader halves, rounding up, the number of wounds it suffers when making a fighting reform or a fighting withdrawal. In addition, the presence of the leader allows the regiment to add 1 die to their total during clash or volley actions.
And that's it for the Predator. I have 2 more characters left, and this is why I haven't selected a Warlord yet. My Warlord is going to be my Matriarch Queen. The reason for that is because I really like her Supremacy ability, and I think it's really going to help when it comes to the fact that I'm so restricted. I can't really afford to have things not coming out onto the table. Therefore, I get a single reroll reinforcement every turn, and that will be very, very useful. She will also be getting Death's Gaze. Now, this is a suggestion that I've taken from elsewhere. I mentioned that in my initial video. You get the throwing weapon special rule, which means that you your stand gives impact hits regardless of its type and its class, and it also gives you Unstoppable Charge, which doubles the number of impact hits it rolls when it successfully does a charge. It's going to be very, very useful. She needs some things to go with it. We're going to be giving her some Warbread, because Warbread, and I'm going to be giving her the Blooded. Now, there's no real super reason why she gets the Blooded and not the Scion. It's just the way that I wanted it to go. The Blooded will be getting a leader, and I think I'm going to leave that there for now, just because I want to see how these go before I start making any super alterations. The Warbread will be getting Penitent. Now, this one gives you an option. At the start of your turn, you either choose for nothing to happen, or you choose that all the stands in the regiment with this draw event have Decay 3 special rule and 1 to clash and +2 to march. You're going to have to be very careful with how you use this because it's hurting yourself, but it gives you a significant advantage. The Decay X is exactly what you think it is. And all that leaves me with is the Scion of Conquest. Alright, so the Scion of Conquest. Oh, sorry, I forgot something. I should be checking these errors. In order to use that, I must have at least 1 Tactics of Conquest. And this one means that you re-roll failed resolve die, which would be very useful if you're being attacked. Now that error has gone. Now, I haven't selected any cults at this stage, that's deliberate. Now, my Scion needs a spell, and I'm going to be giving them Dissonance, because I really want to try out this idea of being able to stop their spells. I have 2 more things that I need to go. So, if we add some Braves, and what else do I need? I need some Hunters. Damn it. But I can't use them here, so I have to go back and make a correction. These are the things that you need to learn. Now, like I said initially, I'm doing this deliberately as I go, as much as it means that I make mistakes and stuff. But I'm doing it deliberately because I'm trying to show that, you know, I am actually doing this and not just pretending to be doing this for the first time. So, let's remind ourselves who I can use them with. The Matriarch Queen can, and that's not a bad idea. I'm actually thinking of going against the advice and adding them into the Predator. And this is why. In theory, if I use the Hunters and charge them into melee, it will make it more difficult for their forces to get to my Slingers while the Slingers are doing all the damage. Whether that works in real life is another question, but I do like that idea. So, Hunters We definitely want a leader. And yes, we do want a standard bearer. I think we will leave it at that though. We will leave the other two. So that brings us to 14-15. Now, the thing that I have not done at this stage is the cults. The cults and how the war chants work is the thing that is going to be the biggest learning curve for most of us, myself included. At this particular point in time, I'm going to play things very, very simply and very, very safely and just pick the one. This is not the way the army should be played or is meant to be played. It's just the way that I'm doing it to make it easier for myself right now. And the reason for that is because when you're playing a game for the first time, you don't... If you're playing a game for the first time, you don't want to make things too difficult for yourself. Because you're already learning a new rule set. And I'm using a new army that I've never used as well. So, by adding in another complication, it can make it even harder for yourself. Now, ultimately, this is not something that I would keep. This is something that I would change. But, like I said, the whole point of this is that this gives me an army to start with. So, I'm going to be looking at a game at around 1450 points, I would say. There's obviously changes and so forth that I can make to this to fine-tune it, to get it as close to that as we can. I could probably stretch this out as far as 1500. But, that gives me something to work with for now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the mistakes that you feel that I've made, anything that you disagree with me on. I suspect that I may get a comment in regards to where those hunters went, but I couldn't add them to the Scion of Conquest, so it's just the way that it made sense to me. But, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear you tell me the things that you think I did wrong. And do you agree with me on the keeping things simple to start with? Are you a gamer that likes to dive into the deep end? Or do you take things one step at a time like I'm trying to here? Really love to hear your thoughts. If you're interested in getting into Conquest or expanding your existing force, either use the QR code on screen or the link in the description to open the Para Bellum website, and when you're asked if you have a discount voucher, enter Getting Tabled without spaces, just like you see on your screen, to receive 10% off your order. In doing so, not only will you save money, but you also help support our channel without any cost to you. Thank you very much to anyone who chooses to do that. It's greatly appreciated. You're helping us improve our content and bring more content to you. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you're enjoying the content of this channel, please like and subscribe. If you're in a position to do so, please check out patreon.com/gettingtabled. You receive early access to at least 80% of all videos that we put out, and you get access to the video edition of all of our podcasts the day that they're uploaded. If you'd like to check us out on social media, facebook.com/gettingtabled is the most active. We also have a Discord server. You can email our team at gettingtabled@gmail.com. If you're on either Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. And until next time, play more games.